Have you ever heard someone say Germans don't have a sense of humor? As a German, I hear this a lot from non-Germans. But today, I want to challenge that stereotype. German humor, especially sarcasm and satire, is very much alive, but it often gets lost in translation and missing context. Why? Because it's deeply tied to how we communicate, our tone, our timing, and even our facial expressions. In this presentation, we will explore what makes German humor unique, starting with a brief theoretical framework, then looking at the role of sarcasm in German humor. We will examine an example, explore common intercultural misunderstandings, and discuss why it all matters for cross-cultural communication. To understand why humor varies across cultures, we need theoretical tools that explain how it works beyond just making us laugh. Samovar et al. Emphasized that humor is culturally constructed. What one group finds hilarious, another might just find offensive or also confusing, because humor reflects shared values, norms, and taboos. This is especially true for sarcasm, which often relies on shared background knowledge. Linguist Dynel explores this through the pragmatics of humor, how irony and sarcasm function in everyday language. Sarcasm says one thing but means another, requiring the listener to read between the lines. Huch and Heinz distinguish between benevolent humor, playful and uplifting, and corrective humor, which subtly critiques or points out flaws. German humor often leans toward the corrective, especially in sarcasm. Davies adds that national or ethnic humor can act as a social boundary marker. Jokes signal group belonging. If you get it, you're likely part of the in-group. Together, these theories show that humor, especially German humor, is more than entertainment. It's a form of expression, identity building, and critique. Let's look at a few examples from the English version of the German satire magazine Der Postillon. One headline reads, "Old habits die hard. Generals deliver Biden's first security briefing using hand puppets." This mocks not just only US military theatrics, but also the lingering absurdity of the Trump era, implying officials had become so overused to oversimplifying things, they continued doing so under Biden. Another says, "Disturbed man looks out of the bus window and not at phone." It exaggerates how strange it seems today to simply look outside instead of staring at a screen, highlighting our screen dependence and how normal behavior starts to look suspicious. To German readers, the satire is clear, but without cultural context, these jokes may just seem odd. And delivery matters too. German humor often comes with a straight face, no smile, no cue, just try deadpan irony. To German readers, satire like that in the Postillon is usually clear, but without cultural context, the jokes can seem bizarre or confusing. This is partially due to delivery. German humor often relies on dry deadpan irony, with no smile or clear cue. For outsiders, that lack of emotional signaling can make it hard to tell whether something is a joke at all. A key reason is it doesn't always translate well across cultures. In German culture, sarcasm isn't just about being funny. It's often used as a subtle way to point out flaws or contradictions, which aligns with what Huch and Heinz call corrective humor. But sarcasm is highly contextual. Without shared background knowledge or familiarity with tone, it can easily be misunderstood as literal or even rude. That's why sarcasm can be especially tricky in intercultural communication. It depends not just on what's said, but on a shared cultural lens to decode it. This brings us to a common issue. Sarcasm often gets lost across cultures. Samovar et al. Describe low versus high context cultures. Germany lies somewhere in the middle, but tends to be low context, generally direct. Ironically, our sarcasm lies on high context cues. So in cultures where sarcasm is more emotional or exaggerated, like the US or Italy, German sarcasm might be missed or taken literally, leading to awkward moments. In multicultural settings, recognizing these differences is key. Humor isn't just about jokes. It expresses identity, critiques power, and builds connection. Misunderstanding humor, especially sarcasm, can lead to misjudgments. German humor, which is subtle sarcasm, reflects how Germans communicate and think. It may seem cold when it's simply a different style. In multicultural settings, recognizing these differences is key to better communication. So let's quickly recap. German humor is full of sarcasm, irony, and deadpan delivery, but it's shaped by cultural habits and communication styles that aren't always obvious to outsiders. Understanding sarcasm and how it functions in different cultures helps us avoid awkward situations and connect more meaningfully. So the next time someone tells you Germans don't have humor, you can say, maybe you just don't understand sarcasm. That concludes my presentation. Thank you. And here are my sources.